Another episode of Tech on Ice. Hope you've had a good time. Um, there's been some news in the Github Copilot space since we last spoke, so I thought it'd be worth it to talk about. First off, support for Gemini 2.0 came out, so now you can choose Gemini 2.0 as your model of choice in the model dropdown, which I think is pretty cool. And for folks that might not be aware, your organization, if you allow it, or if you're an individual, you have the ability to add or add their support for additional models in GitHub Copilot. So you're not just tied into OpenAI GPT-4. You can do Anthropic models. You can do in Google models, which I think is pretty cool. Edit mode, which is this idea that has come about being able to edit multiple files at once. That is now generally available. It's no longer in preview. And then the biggest news, which we've talked about this agentic work for a bit now, instead of having a conversation, a back and forth interaction with an AI based service or Copilot in this example. You give it a task, and then it basically builds out a plan and lists and basically itemizes all the steps to do that particular task, and then goes and does it. So we've seen this already a few times in this space, being able to automate the browser, something that's interesting, or being able to kick off multiple things at once. So now there's an agent mode for GitHub Copilot, which the first iteration is very much just kind of building on like the edit functionality, where it say, hey, I want to do this, and then it updates a bunch of files for you, and it goes down that path. So pretty cool. But the most interesting thing that came out of this is they kind of teased a little bit their project. I think it's called Padawan, Project Padawan, which basically is in a summary. It's kind of like a software engineer agent. So we've seen this before. We saw Devin do something similar, where it's don't treat it like an AI, treat it like a coworker. Price point on Devin for folks that remember is $500 a month, which the pricing is for that is pretty high, but also kind of interesting because it talks about what the pricing entails and all that. So I don't know what the pricing is going to be for this Padawan, but it's very much in line with a compete for Devin. So the demo that they've been showing is, okay, you assign an issue to GitHub Copilot, and GitHub Copilot does all of the things necessary to do that particular work. It interacts with the issue in the repo, like it thumbs it up or stars it or whatever, and then it goes and creates another branch in a remote sandbox. It iterates on that branch, and then it opens up a pull request that you can go and review. Maybe with Copilot PR reviews. Funny. You have AI reviewing AI. This is interesting, one, because I think it's the first iteration to this, like, okay, so we're going to have AI working alongside us instead of working for us. Still working for you because you're giving it work, but what I think will be fascinating about all of this is how it's actually used in practice. But I mean, if you played around with GitHub Workspaces, it's already kind of a similar idea, right? GitHub Workspaces, for folks that might not know, it's a completely standalone environment that's linked to a repo, and you can assign work. It lists out all the tasks, and it basically does a lot of the low hanging fruit, heavy lifting for you, and you just say, yes, I want this, do this, change this, whatever. So you're interacting with it. It's still Copilot, but there's a man in the middle, so to speak. Now this approach, I think, is kind of a combination of the work that was done in workspaces and the work that's being done in like edit mode and multi-file and all of that, to provide an experience that is more akin to you working with another engineer, and you assign them work, and then you iterate back and forth on to make sure that work is what you want. All super fascinating. And this is the first step. Project Padawan's not out yet. They said at some point later this year, which will be interesting. It'll also be interesting when they do a private preview, what that looks like, what the constraints are around that. And then obviously general availability. Is it a part of the GitHub Copilot SKU? Is it a standalone SKU? Does that mean Copilot's going to go up? Does it mean this is an add-on to Copilot? It'll be interesting. Will it just be included? Because remember, Devin's 500 a month. I think Copilot, it's like $10 a month, $20 a month, depending on what plan you have. So, pretty fascinating. So I'm curious, like, if you saw some of the announcements around this, like, comment down below what you think about agent mode, uh, Padawan, which is like software engineer agent, and what you think this means for developers. Because I'm curious, because we've already seen it with a non-GitHub entity. Now GitHub is doing it, and GitHub, as we all know, is kind of like the leader of this AI assistant work. So yeah, comment down below what you think. Also comment down below if there's other topics or things that you want me to talk about that aren't AI related, because I'm always looking to think about different types of content. And then as always, like, subscribe and share with your friends. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.